everyone, welcome to my book crawl of New York City, featuring shops in Brooklyn and Manhattan. I tried to focus on mainly lesser known bookstores, though you might see some familiar ones if you've watched other NYC book shopping vlogs. Our first stop was Alabaster Books, which is the only used bookstore we went to this trip, unfortunately, but it's really cute, right next to Strand Books actually, and in the area around NYU and Union Square. So we explored that the day I took Kaylin around NYU. We unfortunately didn't find anything there other than a Kindred graphic novel, which was really cool, but way too heavy to travel with. Next, we went to Rizzoli, which I had never been to before, but it is beautiful. It has a fantastic selection. I really loved all the books that were on display, and I found some really interesting ones that I had never heard of before. And so we spent a good amount of time in this store. I did end up buying 2 books from this place, and you can try and guess which ones those are, but it was unique and huge actually, and I used to live right by here and I never went, so I'm glad I finally have experienced it. I got to see some of my faves, also some books that I've been eyeing for a while. They had, once again, great selections on display. And then we also came across a book called Serotonin, which I really wanted Kaylin to buy because the premise sounded interesting, but we didn't end up getting it. The next bookstore was NYC Books. We actually came here on our last day, and it is focused on Asian authors, I believe, mainly, but it's not all Asian authors. They have a small used book selection also, but very cute, very small store, but I think they also sell coffee, and it's just very vibey in the middle of Chinatown, and I really enjoyed. We spent a good amount of time here. Now on to our Brooklyn leg of the bookshop crawl. We did all of these in one day. We spent one day in Brooklyn, and my goal was to visit as many bookstores as possible, and we did that. And all of these were brand new to me, so it was really fun to explore, and all were basically in walking distance except for the ones that were in different larger neighborhoods or areas of Brooklyn. But we started with Books Are Magic, which was a super cute bookstore in the middle of, I think, Cobble Hill neighborhood in Brooklyn, and they had a great selection. It's bigger than it looks from the outside, and it was really fun to browse here. I didn't end up getting anything from this bookstore because, one, I had to limit how much I was bringing back because we did not have any extra suitcase room in terms of weight, so we were very selective with the books we actually picked. And I was on the hunt for a very specific nonfiction book that I could not find for the life of me in any bookstore, so that was a little sad, but that was a recommendation from Chelsea at Libraries and Lattes. The next place we went to was actually not on my list, but it's something we came across while walking to our next bookstore, and I was so happy we found this. It's the Center for Fiction. I believe this is a nonprofit bookstore that was originally part of the Brooklyn Library, I believe. I could be totally wrong, but they had such a great selection and so many books on display. There was fun ones like The L, which was a train I took all the time because I lived by it when I lived here, and so that was a funny one. And this wall is just full of books. It's insane. Kaylin is obsessed with the New York Book Review covers in books that they publish, and so he was checking out that. Of course, I had to peek Jonathan Strange, and they had great recommendations. All of the ones on the walls were recommendations, not this big wall of books, but the ones in like the pillar walls. But I mean, this bookstore was just huge, and they also had a cafe in the children's book section as well. Next up, just down the street, is Greenlight Bookstore. This was our third bookstore in Brooklyn that day, and I absolutely loved this sign, Bog Girls Don't Cry, and I loved the book selection they put for that, so that was really fun. And they had great setups. Most bookstores had a Latinx Heritage Month setup, which was really cool to see. And this one was like surprisingly big. It kind of wound around in a circle, and it was a lot more to view than I thought going in, but it was cool. They had some great recommendations there as well, and just another great bookstore to check out. This next one is a very small bookstore called Quimby's NYC, and it is very interesting. They have a lot of fun pamphlets, just things to look at, things that were very much handmade, and just $2 for almost everything there. And pardon the 0.5 view of this bookstore. It was so small that I had to use it all the time, so these videos are a bit warped, but they had some artwork on display, they had some stickers, they had a small selection of books, but still a great one, and it was just so cute and fun and very Brooklyn, so it was fun to check out this place. Highly recommend. It's on the main area in downtown Brooklyn as well, very close to Greenlight Books. So I saved the best for last apparently, because this was the last bookstore we went to, the Twisted Spine, and it is one of my favorites, and I didn't know it existed. It is a horror themed bookstore and cafe, and they have things broken out into horror subgenres. There's the creature corner, there's a lot of gothic options, there's slasher. Anything you could want for a horror bookstore was here. They had a really cool setup. I really enjoyed the fireplace area, just a vibe all around. And I was telling Kaylin that if I lived in Williamsburg, I would 100% be there constantly and just hang out there all day, every day. So very highly recommend if you live in Williamsburg or in New York, or if you're visiting. It is really cool and really close to great restaurants and bars as well. So I say must stop if you are a horror fan in New York. And that wraps up the book shopping part of this video. Now let's get to the book haul. Hi everyone, welcome to the book haul section. We have a lot to get through today because I'm not only covering what I got in New York, I am also covering what I got on my fall TBR excursion to the last bookstore in Barnes & Noble. So if you want to see the short I made out of that shopping experience, please check it out. I was mainly hunting for my fall TBR at that point, but ended up at a used bookstore, which I wasn't expecting. And so ended up getting more books than I needed to there. And then also went to Barnes & Noble to actually get the books I needed that were on my TBR. So a lot to get through, and then also some recent special editions I've gotten from some book boxes. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on summaries, except for the ones that I have never talked about before. And so I'm going to try to keep this quick. I had major stomach cramps last night, and my stomach's still not great, so short and sweet is better for me. So with that, let's get into it. I'm going to start with NYC, since that's what you just saw. And that's this pile over here. I did start and finish one of these books the last day of my trip. So I'll start with that one. This is Midnight Timetable by Bora Chung. It is a novel in ghost stories. This is the one I got from NYC Books. I have read Cursed Bunny by Bora Chung, which is a short story collection. And so this one was pretty quick, easy. They're pretty short, they're short stories, but interconnected, and they're ghost stories. And it's only 180 pages. So I went through this pretty quick. I started reading it outside the New York Public Library and then finished it on the plane on audiobook. And so honestly, a little disappointed by this one. I really enjoyed Cursed Bunny. I thought the different stories were really unique and really compelling. This one, I think maybe it was because the ghost stories weren't as scary or intense as I wanted them to be. I think the first story was my favorite story because that one actually was kind of interesting and thrilling, to read. Some of them were just weird, which, usually I like weird, but I don't know. It didn't really connect. And the premise is that there's a new employee at a mysterious haunted object museum kind of thing. It's called the Institute, and they house strange artifacts. And so she is coming to the night shift, which is, weird. And her senior tells her all about experiences at the Institute. And so, yeah, it's the premise was so good, but I don't know, it fell a little flat for me. And I don't know why I'm giving you the full review, but I am right now. So read and finish this one. I will leave it at that and then move on to the next one. So I'll save these for last. The next one I picked up, or it's actually the first one I picked up, and that is The Wax Child by Olga Raven. This I picked up at Strand Books, actually, so it wasn't in this video. It was in my New York City vlog video. But this one I had never seen before, and then like as soon as I saw it and bought it, I saw it everywhere else. So I guess it was a new release. But this one really struck me as interesting, so I'll read you. It's very short. In 17th century Denmark, Christense Krakow, an unmarried noblewoman, is accused of witchcraft. She and several other women are rumored to be possessed by the devil, who comes to them as a tall, headless man and gives them dark powers. They steal people's happiness, perform unchristian acts, and cause pestilence or even death. The women are in danger of the stake. And it's narrated by a wax doll created by Krakow. The novel is an unsettling story about brutality, friendship, power, nature, and witchcraft. I mean, just the fact that it is narrated by a wax doll, hence The Wax Child, and like this cover is really creepy. So, you know, intriguing. It's really short. It's only like 170 pages, and so thought it was perfect for Halloween time, even though it is now officially the day after Halloween. The next one I picked up was at Greenlight Bookstore, and this is Smoke by Gabriella Aleman. I hope I said that right. This is going to be my pick for Paraguay, for female authors for my Read Around the World challenge. This I got, it was on their Latinx Heritage Month display, and I thought, you know, I had to. It was Heritage Month, so it made sense for me to buy it from a Latinx author. So I thought this was a really interesting premise, so I'll read it to you also because it's short. After many years away, a woman returns to the Paraguayan capital of Asuncion to visit what's left of a family and a home that once provided her with refuge. She's come to collect an envelope from the family patriarch, now deceased, and as she reads through its contents and learns the family's hidden story, the unanswered and forbidden questions haunting that home, filled with memories, become palpable. What secrets must be kept in order to survive? For how long? And in a moody family saga set against a troubled history, Smoke explores the aftermath of a dictatorship. So I love the like weird family drama mystery, probably dark leading, I would assume, and the history of Paraguay and like post-dictatorship, which I know nothing about, so I thought this was a really interesting read, so I'm excited to get to it. The last two are very unique and not typically what I buy, but they got me, and these were both from Rizzoli. So as you can see, I didn't end up buying from every bookstore I went to. It was kind of nearly impossible because we had no space in our luggage. Like all of these I had to shove into my backpack because on the way here we were even at like 50 pounds already. So like the maximum, so we could not add anything to our suitcases. So we were limited, but we still bought a lot. Like Kaylin bought a couple books also. So these are poem books. So I'm gonna start with this one because I have started this one already, and it is Japanese death poems written by Zen monks and haiku poets on the verge of death, which there's a theme for the books that I bought, but okay, it was October in New York, you know, I felt the vibes. I like just randomly scanned this and read a poem, and I was like, this is really interesting. And so I decided to pick it up, and it's very different than I typically read, but I thought it would be really interesting to learn more about like haikus and poetry. So I'm only like 20 pages in, and I'm very much learning about the history of haikus in like Chinese and Japanese ancient times, and so I'm learning a lot right now. Like this, we don't actually get to actual like death poems until like way later, but you know, I want to learn the backstory and stuff, so I'm gonna read it in order. But really curious to see how I'll feel and what people have to say on their deathbeds, because you know, that's a really interesting concept, that people made an effort to like write down their final words in a poem. So very intrigued by this. And then lastly, another poem book, kind of poem. They're verses, but this is very on theme for Halloween as well. White Teeth, Red Blood, and it's selected vampiric verses. So it's an anthology. It is a collection from throughout history. Anyone that's written about like vampires or like along that vein. So I'll read you like what the premise is. So, seductively sinister, both frightening and alluring, the undead have always been the perfect vessel for humanity's fears and desires. The poems in this collection of dark delights range across centuries and languages. Poems that tell stories, offer warnings, and imagine life in the shadows by writers such as Lord Byron, Emily Dickinson, Charles Baudelaire, Anna Letitia Barbald, Ishmael Reed, and many more. I think I butchered that, sorry. Poems to make your blood run cold, poems to make your heart beat faster, and poems to sink your teeth into. So I read a couple poems like when I was there just to make sure I wanted to read it, or buy it, I mean. And so I thought it was really interesting. There's an introduction as well, and yeah, I just, I thought it was fun, and it's something I could just pick up and put down all the time. Like same with the Japanese death poems. Like I have so many books on my TBR that I didn't want to buy like books that I would feel pressured to read or like couldn't get to. Like everything I bought is very short, or something that I can take my time with. So I'm very happy how I did that, just because I don't need more books, and you'll see like literally everything else that I bought before this trip. But I am on a book buying ban, hopefully, except for there is one book that I am for sure gonna get. And if you saw my fall TBR video, you'll probably know it. It just came out. It is Hazelthorn by C.J. Drews. I am just so excited for that book. But I might do a reading vlog for it. I might not. We'll see. Let me know if you want it. But I will move on to the next section. The books that I got on my fall TBR shopping day, which was at the last bookstore in Toluca Lake, not the downtown LA location, and then also Barnes & Noble. So that is this big ass pile. Some of these you've seen before in my fall TBR video because I got them in time, and then some of them I purchased after, and then a lot of them are on my like anticipated releases for fall, so you'll see the physical copies of those finally. So I'll run through those the ones I got at Barnes & Noble like quickly because I've already talked about these books before, so I don't want to spend time doing it. And the first one is The Bells, and this is by Lacey Ann Dunham. This is a dark academia non-fantasy, like set in the 50s or 50s. And dark academia, like weird sisterhood, an alliance of girls called the Bells. So hopefully along the lines of The Secret History. I haven't read a non-fantasy dark academia in a very long time, so very curious about this one. And then this one I put on my maybe list for TBR. This is The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. This is a kind of spooky house story. I think it's gothic, very like fairy tale-y. I'm not going to talk about the premise because I already did. But really interested in this one. I just don't think I have it in me to get to it this year. I've been moving so slowly, guys, and there's so much I need to get to. So we'll move on. This one is one I'm definitely trying to get to by the end of the year, and this is Strange Beasts by Susan J. Morris. This one Barnes & Noble didn't have. I had to ask them to order it, so I like had to go pick this up and buy it. I didn't have to, but like, because I asked for it specifically, I felt like I had to. This one I'm excited for. It's like a daughter of Dracula's killer meets daughter of Moriarty, the Sherlock Holmes villain, kind of mystery case. So interesting combo there. This is The Garden by Nick Newman. I've talked about this, very excited to get to. I might do a reading vlog of this with Hazelthorn because they're both like evil gardens, I think. So, similar vibe, and that's kind of niche. So we'll see, but yeah, old women like solitary and alone in an evil garden, and a kid shows up one day. And then we have The Library at Hellebore by Cassandra Kaw. This is also kind of dark academia, but also like very gory, and there's a lot of fighting and trying to stay alive. So we'll see.
that wraps up the ones I've talked about before, and so I'll get into the ones that I got at the used bookstore that I went to. So there's 4. I thought I got more than that. Oh wait, I totally lied. The Hazelwood is from the used bookstore, not from Barnes & Noble. That's why I picked it up. So that one's on the other list. Okay, I will start with this one. This is a weird girl lit author that I have not read yet that I've been wanting to read. And so I came across this and I had to get it, and that is Milk Fed by Melissa Broder. I'm curious if I'll like her, because I've read, like, I feel like a lot of the popular weird girl lit girls, like Otessa Moshfegh, who else is there? Sayaka Murata, Mona Awad, Julia Armfield, you know, like those. But Melissa's written so many. And I've also been curious about the Pisces, because like that's my astrology sign. So this one also intrigued me because it's about a Jewish girl. And so I had, you know, I can relate. So Rachel is a 24-year-old lapsed Jew who has made calorie restriction her religion. Working as an underling at a Los Angeles talent management agency, she maintains an illusion of existential control by the way of obsessive food rituals. Rachel is content to carry on subsisting until her therapist encourages her to take a communication detox from her mother, who raised her in the tradition of calorie counting. Rachel soon meets Miriam, a Zaftig young Orthodox Jewish woman who works at her favorite frozen yogurt shop. Rachel is suddenly and powerfully entranced by Miriam, by her Sundays in her body, her faith in her family, and as the two grow closer, Rachel embarks on a journey marked by mirrors, mysticism, mothers, milk, and honey. Sounds right up my alley, you know, like growing up with an almond mom. I mean, I didn't have an almond mom growing up, but like I love the idea of this, so I hope it comes out well for me. That's not how you talk normally. I hope I enjoy it. Next, we have a book that was recommended by Ellen at LMA Book Club, and she read it, and it's Annie John by Jamaica Kincaid. This book is a little dirty, so I need to clean it. But it is short. She didn't like absolutely love it, but she said it was an interesting book, and this will be my pick for Antigua for my Read Around the World Female Authors Challenge. And yeah, I'm curious to learn about Antigua at this time. So I'll read the back. With Annie John, the story of a young girl coming of age in Antigua, Kincaid tore open the theme that lies at the heart of all her fierce incantatory novels, the ambivalent and essential bonds created by a mother's love. In this novel, written in Kincaid's lucid, elemental style, Annie John's ambivalence is universally familiar and retchingly real. That was a mouthful and hard to say, but interesting. And then this one I've talked about before. It's on my classics TBR, or my modern classics TBR, and I have read this in high school, but I want to reread it, and that is Things Fall Apart by Chinua Achebe. This I luckily found at a used bookstore. This was something that I like easily could find, and like luckily these are like a lot cheaper than a lot of the used bookstores near me, so it was nice to know that there's a used bookstore close to me now that is like affordable and huge. And so this, honestly, I don't even remember what it's about, so I'll read the back for you too. A simple story of a strong man whose life is dominated by fear and anger. Things Fall Apart is written with remarkable economy and subtle irony, uniquely and richly African. At the same time, it reveals Achebe's keen awareness of the human qualities common to men of all times and places. So all I get out of that is it's about a man. So we will see how this goes. But you know, it's a modern classic for a reason. And then lastly, one that is also for my Read Around the World challenge, I think, if I can remember, yes, the country it is for. And this has been on my radar for a while, so it was really cool to actually find this in the used bookstore. And this is Flights by Olga Tokarczuk. I said that so wrong, so I'm sorry. I really should have looked up how to say her name, but I didn't. So next time I talk about this book, I will have looked up her name by then. or tell me the pronunciation in the comments, please, because I don't want to keep butchering it. This is a short story collection, I believe, as well. Incomparably original, Flights interweaves reflections on travel with an exploration of the human body, broaching life, death, motion, and migration. Chopin's heart is carried back to Warsaw in secret by his adoring sister. A woman must return to her native Poland in order to poison her terminally ill high school sweetheart. A young man slowly descends into madness when his wife and child mysteriously vanish during a vacation and just as suddenly reappear. Through these brilliantly imagined characters and stories, interwoven with haunting, playful, and revelatory meditations, Flights explores what it means to be a traveler, a wanderer, a body in motion, not only through space, but through time. It just got really dark, so hopefully it's not grainy anymore right now. I can't tell on my camera. But Olga is Polish, so this is my pick for Poland, and I'm excited. I think all of those stories, the three that they mentioned already, sound really intriguing to me, so I'm curious. I need to finish a few other short stories, though, before I pick this one up. Do I need to turn on a light? I'm not going to. I'm too lazy. But hopefully the sun comes back. It's not even that late. It's like 5:30. But okay. We are on to the special editions, the last segment of this book haul. And then I have to count how many books this is because that's crazy. Starting with the book that I am currently reading, and that is Alchemy of Secrets by Stephanie Garber. I believe this is a Fairy Loot book. Yes, Fairy Loot. I'm loving this so far. I can't wait to talk to you guys about this. I almost was like, I need to do a reading vlog for this, but then no, I'm not going to. But this is beautiful. Here's the middle, here's the back, and then I will show the sprayed edges, or not sprayed, but you know what I mean. Here's the beautiful cover. Like, honestly, like, these book boxes are killing it. Once they realize they can like make actually cool naked hardback covers, like they're all doing it now. So that's nice. And then the flip side is just the original cover, I believe, in a different color, I think. And then the end pages are, here you go. Here you go. This I've talked about in my TBR videos and anticipated release videos, so I'm not going to talk about it more. The next one is The Second Death of Locke by V.L. Bovalino. This is, I think, an Illumicrate book. I'll read you the inside because I really don't know what it's about, but I've heard good things so far. Gray Flynn has dedicated her life to her mage Kier. She will be his blade on the battlefield, his healer and protector. The deep well of raw power inside her is Kier's to use. Gray would do anything for Kier, be anything for him if he would only ask. When a quest to protect the child of an enemy kingdom pulls them into the dangerous heart of their nation's war, Gray and Kier will need to decide what they are willing to sacrifice to protect their secret. For Gray is no ordinary magical well, but heir to the lost island of Locke, the root of all power. If she dies, all magic dies with her. Okay, that sounds pretty good. Not gonna lie. So I might have to like bring this up the list a little bit, but let's look at how pretty it is. Here's the front, here's the spine, the back, the edges, and then let's take the cover off. Ooh, there's no reverse cover, which is fine. Ooh, very pretty. Here's the front of the hardback, here's the back, here's the spine, and then and the paper, and the paper. I don't know why I never read that synopsis. I've been busy. Okay, there's that. This one was actually also on my fall TBR or anticipated releases video for fall. And I didn't know I was getting this in a book box, so that was a nice surprise. And this is A Curious Kind of Magic by Mara Rutherford. This, I think, is an Owlcrate. Yes, Owlcrate edition. Very pretty and fall looking. So here's the front, the spine, the back. I'm trying to like speed run all of these because it just takes forever. Here's the naked back. It's pretty. spine, that other back, and then I forgot the sprayed edges, and then the flip side of the cover, there's that. And then let's see what these are. I think this is sapphic, so that's fun. And then, ooh, I like the mushrooms on the back, that's fun. Yeah, very cute. This was like a cozy fantasy, so I talked about it in that video, so I'm not gonna talk about it in this video, or look it up. I'm really trying to not make this a long video, because I said every time before this that I would not make a long video, and they've all been like an hour. And then last but not least, this big ass book that is really heavy, and I don't know how I'm gonna read it physically, but we got Alchemized. This was also Fairy Loot, I think. For September. Yes, this was Fairy Loot. Not going to talk about what this one's about. If you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But I did refer to this in my last video. So here's this. It's huge. Here's the sprayed edges. Now you can see how big it is. Gotta block my face. And then here's the back. And here's the spine. And let's see what's on the inside. Ooh, the hardback's interesting. Here's the hardback, spine, and then the back. And then here's the flip side. This is like the original one, but like red, the original cover. And then we got, here's, ooh, more mushrooms. Love that. We got the end page, and then end page. And that wraps up the very quick speed through book haul that I had. Let's count how many books that is. 18. Yeah, I did that. Some of them are used, okay? Some of them are used. A very small amount, but some of them are used. I have read one too. I've read one, so only 17 more to go. But it is what it is. I am really trying not to buy anything else through the end of the year because I don't need to. And probably into the new year, but you know, new year, new me, like Christmas gifts, you know, it's hard. Sue me. I have a problem. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye. My God, I can't even. Ooh. Is it going to? Oh, no, it's gonna fall. This hurts. Ow. Ooh. Oh. Oh, it fell. But after I finished, I'm so weak.